Come on, people now. Smile on your brother. Everybody get together. Let's try and love one another right now. I think that's it. This is Chow's War, the Avengers miniseries, starring some dead Avengers. This is the second issue, and if you missed the review of the first one, this is a great miniseries. It ranks as one of two Avengers stories that I have properly enjoyed in the last 25 or so years. The cover shows the bad guy, Jim Reaper, having defeated the 6 resurrected heroes. And the backstory is that it is all part of Chow's War, and the big bad guy of that crossover has broken down the barriers between dimensions and killed a bunch of god entities, and now Lady Death has disappeared, which allows dead people to roam free in the living world. We start with a flashback offering a little bit of character on one of our Avengers. In this case, it is Captain Marbles, the real one, mar-vell. And we see some of his time in the military. And then in the present, he has by default become the leader of this squad of former Avengers. But I am sure that the most popular presence in this issue among my viewers will be Dr. Doom, who is refreshingly written as a total cretin. He is brilliant in this. There is no hint of him being anything but a slime bag. He is a coward. He isn't a hero. He is a misery guts. He barely bothers to help the other Avengers in this miniseries, and it is great. The breakout characters in this story are Yellow Wasp and the original Swordman. There is a sad case in which this series ends with them still alive, but a certain Avengers editor I often criticise failed to read this story and so ignored that development, and they returned to being dead, even though it defeats the point of a lot of this story. I'm sure I mentioned all this in part 1. So these Avengers are the only heroes around to help out, since nearly all the living heroes have been defeated by Chow's King in the main crossover. And they are fighting against Jim Reaper and his girlfriend, who have pledged allegiance to Chow's King for a day. And one of the interesting connections they make is that Dr. Doom actually used to shag Jim Reaper's bird, Nocturna, until she betrayed him and shot him. Our hero is the far more meaty stuff. We finally get Life Cry's backstory. She was a character in the 90s and she didn't appear for a decade. And so her backstory, which was teased and hinted at, it was never actually revealed. And here we learn that she was disgraced royalty, banished from the family. Really great to have this established long after the fact. It's better to eventually get something than never getting out. And then we have this subtle bit with Dr. Droom. He goes to visit Nocturna in his astral form. And if you look, he kind of disguises himself to her. He tries to make it look like his younger, less pathetic form. Still balding, which isn't quite accurate to how he looked when they were together. But it is a neat little detail. And we get some great stuff with Life Cry, where she tells Captain Marbles, the real one, mar-vell, how she died without honour. And now she thinks she has been given a chance to die gloriously in battle. So she fights Nocturna. But it doesn't really go well for her this time either. She gets bested by Nocturna. And Captain Marbles, the real one, mar-vell, he has to fly in and save her. But Life Cry is written much better than she was in that Galactical Guardian story where she died. So she isn't automatically clawing at his neck for disgracing her and stealing her kill. Not that it matters, because Jim Reaper sneaks up and impales Captain Marbles, the real one, mar-vell, on his scissor. And there is our cliffhanger, and it must suck to be a fan of Captain Marbles, the real one, mar-vell, because the guy is always dying. Definitely wholeheartedly recommend this. This is one of two of the best Avengers stories from the last 25 years. You would be a total mug not to give it a look. Even if you didn't like all the characters, it's a great story and it might make you care for some of them. Probably not Dr. Droom. He is always an arse. But you didn't need to like or even be all that familiar with the characters featured to get something out of this. So I'll rate it 7 thumbs up.